Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Hello.
Hello. So is this time too late or is it okay?
Oh, sir, it's fine.
If you want to get into IIT or something like that, you have to work hard. And I am working hard.
सर वही तो मोटिवेशन है. कल वही तो देख के मतलब एकदम मोटिवेशन चढ़ गया कि नहीं चलो यार अब तो करते हैं.
No, I'm always been telling you, it's not that difficult. But the thing is, you have to be consistent. And this is just the beginning. Like when you talk about going to IITs, you have to be like, there are other things also. All right, like in IIT, we were surprised to see that uh, there was a fest in the evening, 4 days fest Antragni and Tekkriti. ठीक है, तो उसमें इट वाज लाइक कि हमें मतलब हम देख के चौंक गए, मतलब कि रात में पूरा फंक्शन हुआ, इतना बड़ा सब, मतलब सोनू निगम आया हुआ है, सब कुछ इतना बड़ा स्केल पे फंक्शन हुआ. Then the next day in the morning there is nothing. When we go to the class at 8 o'clock in the 7:30 or 8 o'clock in the morning, everything is like, by the night everything has been cleared. So there was no holiday or anything after the fest. All right. So that was like a strange thing for us when we went from Central University. So what I'll be doing is, last class we discussed about the angular momentum
Hermitian
operator.
adjoint.
Yeah, and Hermitian adjoint. So just what you have to do is, you have to just stick to the whatever I'm doing, and try to follow it, and try to remember everything. All right. So
Yes, sir.
that is how you will be able to do, you will be able to complete the course in time. And this will take, see, I have already done a lot of mathematical tools in the YouTube channel. And what will happen is, you can you can go through it. All right. And if you have doubts, we'll have some extra discussion sessions. Okay. And also I'll be uploading this lectures on YouTube after the recording is done. All right. So yeah. So also make sure that your questions are like to the point.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I will start with this thing, and also make notes. Okay. So that is how you keep yourself engaged in the lecture. So Schrodinger equation. So you can. So Schrodinger wave equation. Now this one has a very, so what I realized later after timing, fix the timing, that that there's a free slot for 40 minutes only in Zoom. All right, so I will stick to 40 minutes only, and maybe like 35 minutes of lecture and 5 minutes of doubts. We can do that, or maybe 10 minutes of doubt. All right. So we'll have very small bite-size lectures which you can digest easily every day. All right.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So
Sir, before coming here, we have to revise that from YouTube, no, sir?
no, it's not that way. I'll every lecture will be self-contained as far as possible. I'll try to make it that way, because again, then you have to go through those lectures. It will take you at least 1 week. Okay.
Yes, sir.
More than that maybe. So, but you should do it once. All right. It will help you gain confidence in the mathematical part of the quantum mechanics. All right.
Okay,
So
sir.
by the time we reach other topics, I think you should make sure that you do those parts.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, of course, I'll be telling you which lecture to refer at which point. So don't worry about it. I'll
Okay,
help
sir.
you out. Okay. So and this Schrodinger equation, wave equation, has an interesting story that somebody said, like at the time when de Broglie gave this theory of that hypothesis that a particle can have a wave nature. All right, similar to a photon having a particle nature. So that time that topic was really hot. So what happened was, Schrodinger was visiting some university where a famous professor met him and said, I forgot his name, and he said that why don't you give a lecture on de Broglie hypothesis? It's very popular these days. So he went on. Schrodinger then gave a colloquium on that, and then after the lecture ended, he said that okay, so what do you think that the other professor, the other famous scientist, he said that what do you think about this thing, that if something is behaving like a wave, then it should have some wave equation. And Schrodinger was asked about this question, and told him, Schrodinger was told that you should search that wave equation. All right, so that famous scientist didn't do it himself, but Schrodinger took that idea and he implemented it, and we know this idea by his name. Okay, this Schrodinger equation, and that professor still regrets that thing. All right, so Schrodinger was the one who proposed this thing first. That, see, the what we do whenever we have a physical experiment, we take this thing, we take some measurements, we see what is happening, and then try to come up with a mathematical model, okay, so that we can predict any experiment. All right, so when we found that there are like if a particle shows diffraction or interference pattern, then we can say that that has a wave behavior. So if something is showing a wave behavior, then it should satisfy some wave equation. Okay, that was the idea. Now Schrodinger said, like, so for a particle of mass m moving under the potential Vx. Now this potential, we use the term potential in quantum mechanics. This is actually the potential energy. All right, I don't know why we stick to potential, but due to historical reasons we use the potential. This potential is not the same as we use in EMT. All right, electromagnetic theory. This is the potential energy. All right, so this is the potential energy, but in quantum mechanics we like to call it potential. All right, so this is potential energy always. Now the Schrodinger equation is given by all right, so let me write it here. This equation, all right, it's written like this: h hat xt, the wave function is the function of x and t. So see, wave function, you should understand how which all wave functions are acceptable or not. What is a acceptable bound state wave function? What is acceptable unbound state wave function? Okay, so you should look at lectures. I don't remember the lecture numbers, but it's all labeled properly if you see the series. Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
you can just go through it, and I've explained it very it's very simple to understand. All right. So, and for books, if you want to refer, is H.C. Verma, Quantum Physics, and then you can refer to Jetili or Griffiths. That is enough, more than enough. All right. And if you want to actually study quantum mechanics, then you should go for R. Shankar or J.J. Sakurai, but not at this stage. Okay, when you go to MSc, then you study from R. Shankar and J.J. Sakurai. Those are the books you should learn from quantum mechanics.
So
Okay?
lecture 17 to 23 is all about wave functions.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Who's that? I think the
Adityam.
voice is familiar.
Adityam.
Okay. All right. Okay, Adityam. All right. Thank you. So where in this case, see, there are two sides of it. Like this is called a eigen, like if this when where h cap is equal to, this is the Hamiltonian operator. Okay, this has also been discussed in our operator formalism. This is the potential energy operator, and this is the kinetic energy operator. Okay, this one is called the Hamiltonian operator. Now this is basically the energy operator, actually the total energy operator, Hamiltonian operator. All right, and this one is the potential energy operator. Right, so you can look up the potential energy the operator formalism chapter. All right, and there you'll find all the descriptions. And so this is the potential sorry, I wrote it wrong. This is the kinetic energy operator. This is kinetic energy operator. And this is the potential energy operator. Potential energy operator. All right. Now, this, the other one, the other side, on the right hand side, we have this operator, which is time dependent. All right, which is time dependent. Now, always the proof, like there's a proof of Schrodinger equation which we find in this books generally, but that is not I wouldn't say it's like a direct proof. We use a wave function and then put it there. Okay, we assume a wave function like this, like e to power psi naught e to power I kx minus omega t, a plane wave function, and then we put it on this side and then operate the operators on both sides, h cap and e cap, and we find out that both sides match. But that is not the derivation for Schrodinger equation. The derivation involves a lot of complex advanced topics like Hamilton-Jacobi formulation as well as Klein-Gordon equation. So you'll study in the MSc level, or some of you who are already in the MSc. The thing is, I think you wouldn't do that part. So you have to like accept this thing that this works, this equation works. All right. Now for like it's like Newtonian mechanics. Okay, the Newton's laws, the Newton's second law is not, there's no derivation for it. It's a law. All right. So in this case, so we have the first thing which we do is, now this is when we expand this thing, it's a differential equation. When we write down the operators, it's a differential equation. All right. So let's write down the time dependent Schrodinger equation. Now this is a partial differential equation. All right, in two variables. So we need to solve this. Solving will give us the wave function, and which will represent a particle. All right. So now in this case, if I write like this, now if you see this thing, if I had gone through this like before in the lectures, I wouldn't have written this step. But since most of you haven't gone through those lectures, I'll write this one. Now this is the kinetic energy operator, because this is basically P cap square by 2m plus, where m is the mass of the particle, and this is the potential energy, potential. Now Px is written as the momentum operator is given by minus I h cut del by del x. All right. So this is what is given to you. All right. Now if you put this thing here, if you put Px square, now Px square is like operating P twice. Okay, Px square is operating Px twice. All right. So if you operate this is a constant, so you'll have minus I h cut whole square, and you have double derivative with respect to x. So in this case, you'll write minus, this will be plus, then iota square will be minus h cut. Okay, and this is by, right, this is the form of the Px square, momentum operator square. Now if you put it here, you get minus h cut square by 2m. And see, this part is important, the derivation is important, because sometimes the questions are asked from this only. All right, you'll be asked something related to this. So I'll do the questions also. So this is, you need to follow how the derivation is done. Now in this case, so this was a side note from previous lectures. Okay, so we have the right hand side, we have the left hand side. Okay, now this is actually I'll write it as a partial, because we have two variables here, x and t. All right, the wave function depends on x as well as t. Now in this case, you have if you put this equation, these two, the h and e, what we have is minus h cut square by 2m and derivative with respect to x square. All right, this psi xt plus vx psi x t is equal to I h cut, right, the right hand side, which is this. So we have just replaced the operators with their explicit form. Okay, So let's say this is equation 1. Now this is basically what? This is a differential equation. This is a partial differential equation. So this is, so equation, this is a partial differential equation. Partial differential equation in two variables. In two variables. All right. Now, in two variables, what are the variables here? X and t. Now, in this case, yeah, the other part is the, now we have to separate. We'll separate the two parts, the time dependent part and the time independent part. All right. So time dependent part, we'll separate both of them. Time dependent part and time independent part. Time independent part. All right. This is how you solve a partial differential equation. Okay, you must have done in your mathematical physics classes. So the same principle is being applied here. Now, there is an important point here, a very important thing. Otherwise, we won't be able to do this analysis. The thing is that we are assuming that the potential, we are assuming that the potential is, assuming that the potential is independent of time. All right. Now, this is a very important thing. Otherwise, we won't be able to separate the variables. Okay. But there are equations, there are ways to solve the time dependent potential, which we will learn in later chapters. So what I am doing right now is, the plan is I'll be covering the common part of IIT JAM and GATE and NET up to before the spin part. All right. And I'll do the spin part also a little bit for the IIT JAM case. Sorry, IIT JAM not, the TIFR and JEST part, which is also asked in the integrated program courses. So the plan is to cover the common syllabus, and then after spin, it will be like all NET and GATE. All right. So if you want, you can continue, because JEST and TIFR they ask the questions there. All right. So, but I'll inform you like till where the JAM syllabus, JAM MSc entrance exam syllabus is, and then you can decide whether to continue or not. All right. But I'll be covering the whole thing, like GATE, NET, whatever is there. So in this case, we have assumed that the potential is time independent. Okay, in this case, but there are things where you will be doing, there's WKB approximations. Okay. Now that is the space varying potential. Now in this case, we usually take it to be continuous and constant, and in some cases we take it to be variable also, like half kx square, the harmonic potential well. All right. So in this case, let us assume that so in solving the partial differential equation, what we do is, let us assume that psi xt is equal to, this is x. Now this is a function of x. We are writing like a separate variables, okay, a product of variables, and x is, this is a function of x only, and this is a function of t time only. All right. So the capital X and the capital T. Now if you put this equation now by equation from equation 1, if you use this in equation 1, using say 2 in equation 1, using 2 in equation 1, so what do we get? So do it along with me. All right. This is h minus h square by 2m. Just place the variables, like the terms here, xt, instead of psi we are putting xt, plus vx is the potential term, xt is equal to I h cut derivative with respect to t, which is x t. All right. Now, in this case, if you solve this further, what do you get? This is minus h cut square by 2m. This is t. Now this term, the t comes out. All right, t will be outside. So this will become a total derivative instead of partial derivative. It will become total derivative because the x now we have what the here we have only the function of x. All right, so this will be the total derivative, and plus v x t is equal to I h cut. Now this is a dt by dt. All right. In this case, the x comes out. All right. So we will have a total derivative here. Now dividing both sides by xt. Dividing both sides by xt. All right. So if you divide both sides by xt, what do you get? This is minus h cut square by 2m. All right. Now in this case, what do we have? Minus h cut square. Now in this case, what will happen if we divide by xt? There will be 1 by t. This is derivative with respect to x. All right, plus bx equal to I h cut 1 by t. Now this is on this side, it will be dt, d capital T by dt. Now one can see,
Sir,
yes,
is it
Sir,
not
would that
1
be
by
1 by
x in the
x?
first term?
sorry.
Is it
Okay,
not 1
should
by
be
x in
1 by
the
x.
first
there
term?
will be a x here, right? There will be a x here, right? You're right. Now in this case, this part is function of x only. One can see that this part is function of x only. All right, and this part is function of t only, time only. All right, so it's the usual method of solving the partial differential equation. Now this is equal to constant, some constant, which we take it to be E, and later on we'll find that that has the dimensions of energy. All right. So this, because each of the sides of the equation are equal to individual variable, like this is a function of x only, this is a function of t only, then this two can only be equal if both are constants. All right. That is why we have to equate to a constant, and this constant we have taken to be E because we know from the previous, we have already, somebody has derived it, so we already know that this E is actually the energy. All right, so that is why you use this symbol. It could have been any other symbol. All right, now next part is, now we'll be solving that, we'll be separating both the terms. Okay, now there are two terms, all right, which I wrote earlier. The one is the time uh, dependent part, time dependent part. All right, now in this case, now it's all mathematics. Okay, we have not done any physics is not there till now, it's all mathematics. Now in actually what happens in physics is you have only 2 lines of physics and then rest of is mathematics, and then after the result comes out, you then describe what is the physics behind it. Okay, so in this case also the same thing, we are applying this thing, that we are solving for each of the part. We took the time dependent part first. All right. So if we solve this equation, if we solve this, this is 1 by t. Now this is dt is equal to minus iota. Now I'm taking iota that side, and then like for multiplying by iota numerator and denominator, I'll get minus iota here. All right, and this will be dt. Now if I integrate both sides, what will we get? Integrating both sides. Integrating both sides. All right. So what we get now on this side, we'll get ln t. natural log of t, all right, minus et, sorry, e h cut, e by h cut t plus, now we deliberately choose a log with a constant, the integration constant. This is the integration constant, okay, integration constant. Now we take it to be log ln c because it's easier for the calculation, integration constant. All right, now in this case, what do we get? Now if we rearrange this thing, so what do we get? Ln t by c. If we take the ln c term this side, it will get ln t by c. Now this is minus I e by h cut. Now if you rearrange this thing, what you will get is c e to power minus I e t by h cut. Now this is a solution for the time dependent part. This is a solution for the time dependent part. All right. Now this is a very important thing to remember, because in whatever situation I will be using this, now this c, this exponential part is independent of, this exponential part is independent of potential Vx. There is no dependence of potential Vx. That means that if we solve a Schrodinger equation for the time dependent part, and it will always be the same. It is independent of Vx, whatever the Vx comes out to be. Yeah, Vx has to be only a function of x. All right, V has to be a function of x only. Then in this case, the time part is always independent of Vx. All right, so this is a thing to remember. Questions are also asked from this section. Now, the next part is the time independent part, which is the x function part only. Okay, so this next one is time independent part. Time independent part. All right. Now let's bring the time independent part, which is minus I h cut square by 2m 1 by x. Now this is derivative with respect to x. Right. We have Vx is equal to E. Now this is the time independent part. All right. Now if we can rearrange this thing, or we can rearrange this thing and write like this: the derivative with respect to x, this double derivative, and then 2m by h cut square, and this is E minus Vx. All right, equal to, and there's a function which is x here, equal to 0. All right, so this is the form of the equation you get for the time independent part. Now this equation is, the solution depends on the nature of the potential term. You cannot solve it without the potential term. All right, so you need to like solve this thing like when you get the value of potential. Now the solution of this equation, the solution of this equation depends on the nature of Vx. Unless we know Vx, we cannot solve this equation. All right, so and this is the problem. The whole quantum mechanics, like in this stage, the quantum mechanics depends on the form of the Vx. All right, for example, in 1D potential, we have Vx is equal to 0 within the box. Then in harmonic potential, well, we have the half kx square. Okay, so in that way, then we have a finite potential. Well, okay, so we have different cases of potentials, and that is how we try to solve each differential equations. So basically, we try to solve only the time independent part. All right, so basically we solve the time independent part only. And in this case, what we do is, so we do not solve the time dependent part. Okay, we know what is the answer is, what the answer is. All right. And you just have to make sure which wave function are you using for the solution, and accordingly you have to write the equation. So we have, therefore, the final form of the wave function is like this. All right, this is x and this is t. Now this function will remain, we do not know, right, what is the form of the equation. So in this case, we'll just write down the t function which we got. This is et by h cut. All right. Now, in general, now this is just one wave function. In general, if we consider superposition, now there's a lecture on superposition also, 2-3 parts, I guess. I remember, as far as I remember. So you can look it up. What is a superposition and how do we use it? Now, if we consider superposition, is, you can think of, it's a mixed state. All right, superposition is kind of a mixed state, and so in this case, we consider the superposition of states. All right. So in this case, what we have is, if we consider the superposition of states is like you have two states, say first excited state and ground state, you mix them together. All right. So in that case, the superposition looks like this. The superposition looks like this. All right. So this is a summation over k, and this ck, and say this, the function, this is x. All right. Now this one is xk, and this is e to the power ek t by h cut. So it's summation over all the terms. Now this means that you can write like this, that each, like this one will be c1 x1 e to power minus iota e1 t by h cut. All right, plus c2 x2 e to power minus e2 t by h cut. All right, plus, now so on, we can write the final, like the kth term like this, xk e to power minus iota ek t by h cut. So we can see the e, just the time part, we have to just replace it by this part. We don't solve it for it. We don't solve it. We just solve for x1, x, and then accordingly we just write this term with the corresponding energy value. All right. Similarly, in the next term also. So the time dependent part we do not calculate. Just that we have to find out what is the energy corresponding to that wave function, and we can simply write down the total wave function. All right. So for today's lecture, we can continue further. We can do free particle. Let's do free particle, and then we'll sign off. So the next one is the free particle. All right. So let's see how it looks like. So free particle is something which is free to move around. Okay, you don't need you don't have a potential around it, the particle. Okay, it doesn't feel any force from any surrounding, surrounding. So this is a particle on which no external forces are acting. No external forces are acting. All right. Example is electrostatic force. And gravitational force. Okay, these forces, none of the forces are acting. Okay, nuclear force can be there. So in that case, we call the particle to be free particle. Nuclear force. All right. Now is called a free particle. Now, in this case, if we write down like this, now wave function is given by, say, this is the time independent part we'll be calculating, because we know that the time dependent part we already know. Okay, so this is Vx is 0 for this particle. That is because we are writing, now we do not talk about the forces in quantum mechanics, we talk about the corresponding potential energy. So if no forces, there is no forces, okay, there is no force. Potential energy is 0, that means we can say that there is no force on it. So force is 0, okay, no force. Now, no force, that also, this is what implies is that potential energy is 0. All right. Now, if I write down the Schrodinger equation in this case, now the potential term is gone for the time independent part. Now, what we are left with is this. Okay, it's minus h cut square by 2m derivative with respect to x, all right, equal to E psi. Now, if we write down this, rearrange this thing, what will we get? That this is double derivative with respect to x equal to minus 2me by h cut square psi. All right. So we know how to solve this equation, right? So how do you solve this? We just assume something which is this form. This is, we write like this, that minus k square, this is a wave number of the wave corresponding to the particle, where k is defined by 2me by h cut square. All right. Now this is the form which is very important to see. All right. Now this is a standard form of solving a differential equation. We assume a constant of this form. All right. And then solve for the, like, we know the solution. What is the solution for this kind of equation? Now this k is the wave number. K is the wave number. All right, and this is always a real positive quantity. This is always a real positive quantity. All right, so in this case, if we, so now the solution, now let's look at the solution. Now let's look at the solution. Now solution is like this, that psi is equal to a some constant times, like this is ikx. All right, now we know the solution of this differential equation, like it is of this form. All right, it's oscillatory, it will be a imaginary, like the exponential power will be imaginary. All right, or we could have this to be psi is equal to b constant times minus ikx. Both are possible, both will satisfy the equation, right? Now in this case, if we now we can see, like if you want to find out the momentum of this equation, like how do you find the momentum of this particle? Now whenever you are asked about finding some momentum or some measuring some quantity, you just take the operator and then operate on it. So if you want to find the momentum of a wave form, like a particle, you just take the momentum operator and operate on the wave function. This is, the operator form is minus I h cut. So these are the two equations we have which satisfies this this equation. Okay, these two solutions satisfy this equation. All right. So what does it mean? Now if I take this momentum operator and see what does the part, like the each of the wave function mean, we see that we get minus I h cut e to power I kx. All right. Now in this case, you can see that E, we know that energy of the particle is like h cut omega. All right, P is equal to h cut k. Okay, so that means in this case, and this is a eigenvalue equation. What we are getting like this, h cut k. Now if we had if we had used this equation, we had a constant a here, so let's put the constant also here. So a will come out of this derivative, a will remain here, and then we combine this a with the ikx, will get the psi back. So this kind of equation is known as eigenvalue equation. Now there's a lecture on this also, eigenvalue equation. Okay, this is the eigenvalue equation. Now what is the eigenvalue here? Eigenvalue is h cut k. Now this is the lambda. Okay, h cut k eigenvalue. Now we know that this this energy is h cut omega, and this p, the momentum, is h cut k. All right. Now we can write that e to power ikx represents a particle, moving along positive x direction. Positive x direction. All right. Now this means that px, and now in the next case, now the first wave function represented that a into exponential ikx represented a particle going in the positive x direction because of the momentum direction. All right, so this is positive, the eigenvalue here is positive, so that means this ikx represents a particle moving in positive x direction. All right, so we can check what does e to power minus ikx mean, or we can simply look at it and say what the answer will be. Okay, so if we apply px on this wave function, which is b minus ikx, what will we get is minus I h cut e to power minus ikx and a b constant here, and we can write like this, minus I h cut. Now this will become eigenvalue equation, where the lambda here, the eigenvalue here is minus I h cut. All right, this represents a particle. So this wave function, the other wave function which we have here, represents a particle, is moving along negative x direction. Okay, this means that the e to power a minus a ikx, so you have to remember this thing, or if you don't remember, just apply momentum operator. Whatever the eigenvalue comes out to be, the negative sign represents this thing, the negative sign here. Okay, this represents that it is moving along negative direction, the negative sign here, negative sign. All right.
Okay, sir.
So now the conclusion is this k, in this case the k is not quantized. The k can take any value. The value of k can be anything. If you change the value of energy, it will be anything, right? So what we say here is k can take any value. Now we can, if you see that this wave function is not acceptable in the general sense, but it is acceptable for a free particle, for an unbound state. You will understand if you go through the lecture on like acceptable wave function. I have clearly mentioned how to distinguish between a acceptable wave function and a bound state acceptable wave function, unbound state acceptable wave function. So this will make sense. Now this cannot represent a bound state wave function, okay, because this goes to minus infinity plus infinity. This keeps on oscillating. All right. So therefore, and the k in this case, the k can take any value. You change the value of, if you see the expression of this k, what was it? It was 2me by h cut square. Now if you 2m and h cut will not change, it's a constant quantity. Okay, now e changes. You can change the e, and accordingly you can change the energy of the particle, and the k will change. All right, so the k can take any value, and therefore e can take any value, energy, therefore, energy of free particle is continuous. Now this is a very important thing to remember, that energy, now this is, you should remember this line. I'll mark it with red. You should remember this, that the free particle energy is always continuous. All right. Okay. So I'll stop here, and if you have any doubts, you can ask me whatever we have done today. And you should look up the lectures, previous lectures. It will help you more. And I've told you everything, described everything here. And we'll meet every day and discuss for 1 hour, and I think that would be enough for your exams. All right. So this is it from my side, and if you have any queries, you can ask, or we can sign off.
Sir,
Yes.
yes, sir, why did you have to apply the momentum operator?
See,
What are you trying to
whenever we make a measurement, like if I want to find out the momentum of a particle, or if
Okay.
I want to find the angular momentum of a particle, or
Yes,
if
sir.
I want to find the energy of a particle. So whatever we want to find out, there is a corresponding operator.
Okay, sir.
Quantum mechanics. If you look at the operator formula lecture, there I have
Okay,
described that if you want to, for every classical dynamical variable like kinetic energy, potential energy, function of potential energy, function of kinetic energy, momentum operator, angular momentum operator, everything has a corresponding, angular momentum. For classical variables, we have a corresponding quantum mechanical operators. Okay, so we take that operator and then apply on the wave function or the state, and whatever the eigenvalue comes out of it, it's the measurement of that value with that quantity, all right, that physical quantity. All right.
Okay,
So
sir.
we wanted to measure the momentum of the particle, so we applied the momentum operator and we got the eigenvalue equation. Now eigenvalue equation is anything which has this format. If you have an operator and it operates on a wave function and it gives you lambda psi. Now the psi is same on both sides, like the wave functions are same. Now this is a constant, this is not a function of x or t. Now this is called the eigenvalue equation. Okay, this is called the eigenvalue equation. Now if this is satisfied, then only it is called the operator is the wave function is the eigenfunction of this operator. All right.
Okay, sir.
All
So
right.
this is just like a matrix operating on
Yes,
a.
yes. See, this is linear algebra. Most of the, if you understand matrices is a part of linear algebra, and quantum mechanics, this operator algebra is a part of linear algebra. All
Okay,
right.
sir.
So it's all connected.
Okay,
sir.
Yeah.
So, sir, and just a moment, sir.
Yeah.
Should I look at all the other lectures as well?
Yes,
from
you
your,
can. You just do it on the side. Just spend half an hour every day. All right.
Okay, sir.
I have
We'll
given
do it,
you
sir.
given a lot of examples there. So just look it
All
up, and if you have any doubts, we can discuss. All right.
Okay, sir.
All right.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Good night. Take
Sir,
care.
what is the
It is
web
interesting.
number? Please
Sorry?
give the
Yes,
physical.
Shivrata? Tell me. Hello.
Sir, web number. What does it mean physically?
Wave number is see, when we represent a particle, so physical interpretation is like it's the number of waves per whatever the wave is coming out of the de Broglie wave. Okay, so the wave number is similar to having this thing. When you have a wave equation and you have a wave solution, you have a wave function, like a function of a wave. All right. So in that case, what is the wave number? Wave number represents what? 1 over lambda, right? 2 pi by lambda. So that is the number of wavelengths per unit length, right? So in this case also the same thing is that when you have a de Broglie wavelength, okay, so corresponding wave number is the same thing as what we learn in the mechanics part. All right.
Okay, sir.
That means what is the number of the wave in the 2 pi angle?
Yes. In the de Broglie wave. All right.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
So let's end here. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank
So
you.
this
so
is
much.
interesting as well as slightly confusing, sir.
No, it will happen. See, the quantum mechanics is confusing because we try to compare it with classical mechanics. If we start with spin directly, then we will not be confusing, because that is a purely quantum phenomena. All right.
Okay, sir.
Now
I will refer to your lectures in the YouTube, sir.
Yeah, so if you keep like look at it and slowly build up, see, when you learn something new, you have to a little bit patience, and once you understand the mathematical structure, then you get the feel of it. Okay, and quantum mechanics is always non-intuitive. Okay, it's
Okay,
very
sir.
different from what, because we are, our brain is has developed in a classical environment. All right, we cannot think of it, think of a quantum phenomena unless we use mathematics. Okay. All
Okay,
right.
sir.
So good night, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Good night,
Thank
sir.
you.
Good night, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Good
you.
night.